It went beyond symbolism as the six ministers agreed on a concrete agenda for the future, having annual meetings, launching the work of 6 working groups from counterterrorism and security all the way to economics, food security, energy, and health. And so it's very promising. You are correct, the Palestinians were left behind, and that's unfortunate. And there's certainly efforts need to be made to somehow find a way to have the Palestinians join this initiative, or at least benefit from it, as they are reluctant to participate in Abraham Accords related events. But definitely a good start. Also, it was overshadowed by several a terrorist attack in the city of Hadera in north of Tel Aviv, which kind of put the whole thing in a perspective in which, on one hand, people are celebrating peace between Arab states and Israel. On the other hand, on the Israeli-Palestinian front, and with Israel's Arab citizens, things are not calm, and there are threats to this peace and to normalization agreements from extremists on both sides.
I certainly disagree with Dan's take. I think that we should not exaggerate the significance of the summit. This is a collection of governments with absolutely horrific human rights records that have always been in a secret alliance together. And all that has changed right now is that instead of meeting in secret to plot their regional agenda, they're actually having a summit out in public and out in the open. So this is a purely symbolic change. There is no change in policy here that we have witnessed. And of course, this is a summit that is being hosted by a government that is practicing the crime of apartheid, as acknowledged by the United Nations, by every major human rights organization in the world, including Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch, and every major Israeli human rights organization as well. So they're actively hosting this summit in the Negev while they are ethnically cleansing Palestinian communities out of the Negev and building Jewish towns to replace them. So this is really a grotesque spectacle, and the only way to see it as anything positive is if you're not paying attention to what's actually unfolding, or you simply don't care about the concept of human rights and living in freedom and basic human dignity.
Well, I think all of these statements are true at the same time. Yeah. Absolutely true that this is an agreement between governments, obviously. Public opinion doesn't hold much sway, particularly in the Arab countries. It is also the fact that they did have some cooperation before, somewhat significant, but it is significant that cooperation is ramping up, that they're meeting openly, that their visits to both areas, there's probably going to be more military cooperation. That is significant. Now, whether it's good or bad is a separate discussion. It is the case that, at least as far as one can assess and tell, this has certainly weakened the Palestinian position, the Palestinian situation. Israel always was in a position that in order to normalize with any Arab country, it had to offer, it had to settle, it had to go towards a serious peace process to Palestine with the Palestinians. Clearly, they have gained the upper hand, and their occupation and apartheid continues.